just down today tidying up. We're tidying up a little bit of ground that we bought earlier on in the year. We've got some hedges cut, and we got some hedges cut, and cleaning the backs of ditches, and there's a drain at the bottom of it has to be cleaned out as well. It hasn't been cleaned out in a good few years, and in front of the drain there's a whole damp area, which I'd say the most of it looks like it may dry out if the drain had been cleaned, so we'll just have to see. Yeah, so all I'm doing is just gathering up all the piles of bushes and bits of small trees and stuff that was cut out of the way, and just piling them all up, and we'll leave them to rot for a few months now over the winter, and we'll get them burned then. If there's a dry spell, then maybe around Christmas or after Christmas we'll get them burned, get a few big fires going. The silage fork is a very useful article now for the likes of this job here. Just push it all into a pile. Actually, some of this here it's not all bushes. This ditch, there was a little bit of clay against there's a bit of a stone wall along the side, and it was cleared out, so I mightn't take that off and put it on the fire at all. I'll just leave it there on that pile. Yeah, so there's 10 acres in this piece of land altogether. It's in 4 divides. 3 of the divides are similarly sized. They're probably about 3 acres in each divide roughly. And the other smaller divide, which has the piece of wetland in it, with the drain at the bottom, there's about 1 acre in it. So yeah, so we've got all the hedges cut through the middle of it. The interior hedges were all cut today, and most of them have been all piled up. I just didn't touch some of the ones down in the hollow here because it's a little bit wet. We'll have to wait for the land to dry a little bit for that. Good frosty morning, maybe something like that. We'll get it done. Earlier on in the year, when we acquired this piece of land at first, the first thing we done when we come into it was this boundary hedge along here. We cut it down to about 3 foot from the bank and put 4 strands of barbed wire on it, right the whole way around. And it'll take a little bit of time, but we'll keep it cut just above the barbed wire. We'll cut it every year, and it should start ticking up then in the bottom and fill out all the gaps in between, more or less. But it was a cheap enough way, rather than starting to put up fence and posts out from the ditch the whole way down. Would cost a lot more money, so it's just a cheap enough option, and it works well enough. So that's about it. I'll take a little bit of drone footage now, and a little bit of maybe work of a little bit of drone footage of the digger in action as well. It's just starting to clean the drain now. So here's this little bit of footage I took with the drone. As you can see here on the left hand side, we have the fence that was put up, the barbed wire fence, and the ditches throughout the middle of it now at this point have all been cut. The digger now, you can see it down in this wet corner, as we call it. It's cleaning a drain that runs along that bottom ditch. All the bushes have been gathered up at this point and all piled and ready for burning. As I swing down here now, you'll see there's quite a bit of stuff that had to be cleaned out of this drain. As soon as we started cleaning the drain, the first thing you could see was water starting to come into it and starting to flow down and running into a stream. So I'd imagine that all this area where the digger is sitting, it's all a different colour. It's all very wet, and I imagine it should dry out now quite a bit once this drain has been cleaned. The water now will have somewhere to get away to. There was a lot of stuff along this ditch that had to be gathered up and piled up for burning. Some of it is all, it's like bushes. It's not just bushes, it's bits of clay and a bit of a bank along it as well. So we'll have to do something with that in the springtime when it starts to dry out, and we'll maybe bury it. If there's any low spots, we can bury that stuff and it can rot away then on the ground. This little snippet of a ditch here that we're just looking straight down on, we may even take that out of it and just put these bottom two fields into one, because this field that we're hovering over it's only about half an acre, 3/4 of an acre, and it's really not worth having on its own. You could put it and this field here together and just have it in 3 divides for grazing. But that's really it. I think I'm finished now, and I'm heading back up towards where I'm standing. I'm standing up at the gate up at the main road. So that's really it. So it's just something a little bit different, and I hope you all enjoyed this first voiceover. So it's a little bit different doing the voiceover too. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.